guys, we are back. Sorry, pause that. There we go. So we have him all tarnished up. Let me make sure we're good and focused. I didn't pause it. There we go. What the? Why are you being stupid? There we go. Xbox is being ornery. So yeah, I went through and we added little flakes of white on there. Kind of give it that tarnished effect. Added the little black down in there to kind of smudge it up. Just really look gross and dirty down in there. A little bit of tarnishing on the shield. Again, the cape. I'm really digging the way this looks up here. It really looks like pieces have just wore off of this gold. Almost brass now, I guess, if you look at it. But yeah, dude, that's how that looks, man. It's turning out pretty good. I think I'm done with this up here. Not gonna mess with it anymore. So now we're gonna move on to this base, and we're gonna do that marbling wash effect. So let's tilt her down. Let's focus in. Focus. And we're gonna start it. Now, what I have in my palette over here, let me see. How does that look? That works. It kind of gives you a good view of it. Doesn't for me, though. That sucks. I like to see light, too, man. I like to know what I'm working on. So I have my palette. I have... This here is the Christmas green. A craft paint with just a little, like 2 drops of black in it. It's like 1 decent drop of Christmas green and 2 small drops of black that I mixed all around. This here next to it is the reflective green with a little bit of this in it. I don't like it. I'm probably not going to use it at all. I want to keep this a nice brilliant green because I want it to really counteract the kind of dullness of this now. I really want to make this base pop and just be booming. And then over here I have true Christmas green. These are all just regular paint right now. So what I'll do is I'll get my trusty little squirter and I'm going to go add some water to my palette over here. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 sections of it. And then what I want these guys to turn into are washes. And then eventually I'm going to glaze with them too. So what we do is, and what I did with the last one, now this is only probably the 3rd time I ever did it, and the 2nd time I did it was at the same time I was doing the first one. So who knows how this will turn out now. This turned out so well, in my opinion. I still could have done better, but this turned out good. So this is going to turn out crap, probably. But anyway... So what we're going to do is I'm going to thin this out to a nice wash consistency. And what I want is when I wipe it, you can almost see the palette through there. Yeah, see that's better. That's more what I'm looking for. So then what I'm going to do is take this. And we're going to hit areas. I'm not going to just like paint this entire thing this color. But we're going to hit areas like this. We're going to splotch it on there. And don't worry about consistency and how good you get it on there. Just do what you can, man. And this darker tone is actually going to be in some of these, along these edges here. You're going to just layer it on there. That's fine, you know. Because the edges of marble tend to be darker anyway. So this is what I do. This is my marble. I do this over the whole thing. Just here and there, hit spots, taking care on the edges. The edges, you could, like I said, you could do them a little bit heavier. Just do that over the whole thing. Splotchy, 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 like a bad complexion. And just like that, you know. Like I said, this is how I did the last marble effect I did. I did that all over. Now, normally I would pause and blow dry this. My blow dryer is put up, but I'm still going to pause for a second. All right, so I'm back. So I didn't have my blow dryer, so I had to use my mouth dryer. And I just kind of blew on it. And what that does, it pushes the pools around a little bit. And you get these little threads going through there. Now, granted, it didn't dry it as well as it should. You know, of course, you use a blow dryer. It's going to dry it at the same time. But you still get that effect that I was looking for right now. So what I really need to do, I need to let this dry just a little bit longer. And then now I'm going to come back. Get this paint off my brush. Dip in here and grab some of this green paint. And then I'm going to take it to my water and do the same thing. Create a wash with this Christmas green. And then what I'll do with that, like I want this Christmas green to be a bit thinner for right now. We'll thicken it up a little bit later too. But then I'm going to do the same thing I did with that, but with this Christmas green. Doesn't matter if I go over the black spots, it's fine. But do try to, if you go over the black spots and they're still wet, kind of get that off there. Because you don't want to blend it in too much, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I'll just do this over the whole thing. Just like I did with the other green, the darker green. And what I do is I will do several layers like this. And I will go back and forth, you know, here we go with the green, the lighter green. Hitting over some of the black. Like so. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll let that dry right here like this. Give it that same little blow dry to kind of get it dried on there and kind of get some of that pushed around a bit. And then I'll come back again with another level of my darker green over all this. Making more care on the outside edges. And then I'll just do this over and over again. We'll pause and I'm going to show you each time I do that. Now we come back in them again. I'm going to hit spots with the darker green. More care again to the outside edges. Or, I mean, the edges of it. The edge of the marble. What you're doing each time, too, is it just kind of darkens it up a little bit more. Kind of almost gives you the new layer of the marble. Since marble, you look at marble, it tends to look like different sheets laid on top of each other. We're going to continue this throughout until I have pretty much none of this white spaces left. And now we're going to go to that lighter green. Do the same thing again with the lighter green. This time doing a little bit thicker green. Go over that. And really I should have let that dry better in between. But I'm kind of just going with the flow right now. Let everything dry really good in between layers. That way you don't get things kind of blending together like you're doing a wet blend. You get it more like on top of each other. Like a transparent layer. Once I do like 4 or so layers of all this and just keep layering it up, I will go and do the vein work, the white veins you would see. I think last time I did it, I did Luftwaffe Gray. I'm gonna bring that out too. The Vallejo Luftwaffe Gray. That's a really good tone to put in there as well, man. As some of the vein work, because it just blends it together pretty good. So I'm gonna let this layer dry really good, and we'll come back and do another layer to get all this filled in of the darker tone. That'll probably be my final layer of the dark tone. And then I'll show you the vein work too. And then after I show you kind of what I do, I'll stop the camera for good and finish it up and then show you the completed piece. But we'll come back in a second. Here we are so far. That is layer of dark, layer of light, layer of dark. Not really a layer. I can't say a layer because I didn't like cover the whole thing. I did the splotches. Splotches of dark, splotches of light, splotches of dark, splotches of light, splotches of light, then another splotch of dark, and then you get that kind of effect. I did do the splotches on the side, but then I came back with a layer of a glaze, which pretty much a glaze is just a thicker wash, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if that's like the legitness of it, but that's how I look at it anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I have my Luftwaffe uniform, Vallejo Luftwaffe uniform, WW2. And then, I'm sorry, I'll pause that in the background. Just enjoying listening to Pete talk. So I take my Luftwaffe uniform, and then I have a Aqua Sable scroller brush, little 00 or 6/0. I don't know what that means. All I know is it's a very tiny, very thin. I don't even know if you can tell that from by looking at it. It's a thin liner brush. So, and of course I give the bristles a good run through my mouth. Yep, because it's how I roll. And then what I'm going to do now is we're going to start adding some veining to it. You're not going to get a lot of veining on the side. You're just not going to see that sort of thing, really. So I'm going to stay away from it. And you don't want your veining to be, apologize for the finger. Turn that back that way and down a little bit. You don't want your vein work to be consistent through the whole thing. So what I do is I'll put that in there, roll my bristles, and then we'll just come and we'll just hit. A little more paint on there. Keep your brush loaded good. And I do tend to go one direction, not the band. Oh, sorry, I can't call them a band. A group, singing group. So that's a tag. You want to get a lot of views on your video, tag One Direction. Woo! And you'll get a bunch of weird teenage girls coming on there and going, oh, I don't like this. This isn't One Direction. Where's whatever his name is? Peter, Paul. No. That's the Beatles. I know what I'm saying. I know. But I will come through and I will do this with the gray over the whole thing. Again, I stick to one, this way. I'm just going to continue this angle way. Try not to keep them parallel. With brushes like this, you can kind of lighten up and go, the pressure you put on your bristle, your brush, is going to give you your line. So I'll push a little harder in areas, pull back, push a little harder, pull back, just to kind of give it that good variation in the vein work. Because I mean, your veins on a marble, they're not going to be the same all over the whole thing, you know. So let's get on the side here, do the same thing. So there's just a couple veins. Do little branch off veins, maybe that don't completely connect to an edge. always remembering to keep the tip of your brush down, not so much the side, or else you'll get a longer, crazier line. I mean, that's how you pull good lines. You eventually lay it down where you're running your side. I only learned that from doing a little bit of pinstriping attempts. Definitely not achieving. Pinstriping is a beast. The person who can pinstripe, they amaze the crap out of me, man. Then I'll come back, do some white, and with the white, I will run it in correlation with the gray. Now don't worry about how stark this is, and maybe just bring a little bit over the edge. But do that throughout the whole thing, and don't be afraid to go a little bit overboard with it. I'm not saying like spider webs everywhere of white, but do just a nice little pass of white, and again, vary your line weight. That's what we call it. In tattooing, we do a nice heavy lined piece. You know, it's all about your line weight. It's the weight your line carries in the design. So a little more pressure, lighten it up a little bit to get a thinner line. I don't know if you could, yeah, you can see that. I'm not zoomed in very well. I don't want to zoom in either, because then all that does is give me a grainier video. I guess that's the downfalls of doing it on a phone. I do eventually want to get a nice camera. I've looked at some Sonys and some Canons and some things like that. Legit, like, whatchamacallit camera? Whatchamacallit? A legit video camera, camcorder. But that's just money I don't have, man. Totally would love to, though, you know. My mom told me to push my Patreon more, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's there if needed, you know, if someone feels the need to, but it's not going to be something I'm going to be like, come on, you want me to do good content? Do my Patreon, blah, 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 blah. My goal is just to do good content either way. If someone feels the need or desire to support me through there, or, you know, whatever. If you know, monetizing my videos, I eventually make money on them, $100 in 2 years, cool, whatever, man. That's $100 I'll throw towards a model kit. Just to throw up here and show y'all the awesomeness of the kits. So, again, I probably shouldn't even talk about Patreon. That way nobody will know I have one. So, my bad. So yeah, so there we go. There's a group of veins. Now what I'm going to do now, I don't know how long this video is getting because I do sections and I have to edit everything together. I'll edit out any dumb stuff. Probably won't. You'll just see the whole thing. It's be ridiculous. I'll come in and get some more of that glaze of the Christmas green. Thin it out just a hair more and make it a little bit thinner. And now that I put all this on there and did all that hard work on those veins, I'm going to glaze over it. We are going to push them back deeper into the marble. Tint them down. And this is the point where I will come through and do just over everything, you know, give it a nice coat. So yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this a couple more times. Really do it to your liking. Do it to what is appealing to you. If you want some marble is like super veined and just has lines throughout the whole thing. Some marble, it's lightly veined, you know. Do what you like. Do what makes you feel comfortable. I'm going to do this a few more times and we'll come back and I'm going to show you more or less the finished piece, you know, and I'll give you a kind of quick synopsis of what I did. All right, guys, here we are. We are all done and I have finally finished my Honored Imperium set. It was fun. I got this mainly to do tutorials off of, and it worked out pretty good. You know, I did my marble tutorial first, which failed miserably, but you got to see the end product. I did get to revisit the marble tutorial here in this one. And then we have what we worked on today, the tarnished little dude. This set, I didn't really do anything fancy to it. I just painted it up. Just different colors and stuff. The light's really ridiculously bright here. And I'm going rogue, too. I have loose cam. I'm holding it in my hand. But, yeah. So, this is what we've got, man. This is Honored Imperium to the extreme. Do a real quick pan over. Probably move these models, too, just because... Oh, man, look at the light. Oh, it's so bright. It's not working for me. So, let's kick these guys out of the way. I just put them there for effect. Bye-bye, models. Bye. We miss you already. Nope. All right, so we'll just do a pan over real quick. So here is the marble on the eagle, the Aquila. Aquila, however you say it. Here's just this lameness that I just real quickly threw together. It's a nice little piece. I'm probably not going to do photos at the end of this video because this video is already long enough, man. If you want to see close-ups of something, let me know, and I'll do like a little separate showcase or whatever of it. But and here's this guy. So we'll start with his feet. Here's the marble. I went a little... It's not as bright as it looks, guys. I think this is just this stupid light. Let me see if I can turn it down or not. Oh, yeah, that's really turned down, isn't it? Turned down for what? To see his feet, of course. So anyway, that's the marble effect. Turned out pretty cool. When I finished it, I sprayed down here. You know how hard that was, by the way? I sprayed down here with the crystal varnish. Krylon crystal to give it that shine. And then I came back on the rest of the model and sprayed it in matte varnish, Krylon matte. So let's pan up. I'm going to go off the tripod for a second. Alright, so here's his feet for the tarnish stuff. As we pan up. So I might have went overboard on some of the tarnishing a bit, possibly, but I'm still fairly happy with it. Got the U of tube on the background. I could see me digging this up out of the ground or something. It's been dirty in there for a while. It's a big hunk of metal. So guys, yeah, that's it. That's all for this tutorial. Wow, earthquake. Not really, just my handshake. I hope you enjoyed it, man. I hope you got something out of it. Maybe some ideas on how to do something. Giving something a shot. Look at the puppy in the background over there. Yummy dog food. And yeah, guys, I love you all, man. Thank you so much. Again, if you have any suggestions for tutorials you might want me to do, leave them in the comments below, and I'll put them in my list of stuff to keep coming. Love you guys. You take wonderful care, and rock that nerd life, baby. We love it. Peace out.